Welcome back. Welcome back. Up next, we are going to hear from Leslie Chapman, who is a distinguished software engineer with Comcast. Leslie was one of the technical leads for the X1 platform, which is a platform that serves over 35 million customers. That's incredible. And Leslie volunteers with organizations that teach coding to women, and she herself is extremely passionate about encouraging young women to enter tech. So sit back and enjoy this presentation.
Hello, my name is Leslie Chapman, distinguished engineer at Comcast in beautiful Center City, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. A little bit more about me. I've been with Comcast for 15 years, and I spent most of those years working on interactive television platforms, most notably the X1 platform. About a year ago, I changed my focus over to mobile development in support of home automation and Internet of Things. In my spare time, I'm really passionate about getting children interested in STEM and engineering. As a distinguished engineer, I get to spend a lot of time thinking about how to make things better. Don't get me wrong, I like creating new things, but I get way more of a kick out of making existing things better. And today, I want to talk about how to make errors better. So thank you all for attending this session. Show me your error screens. So most of you have probably heard of test-driven design or test-driven development. That's where engineers will write their unit tests first based on product requirements. Then they code, and the code is complete and correct only when all the unit tests pass. But have you ever thought about error-driven design or loading screen-driven design? It's bound to happen. There are going to be times when dependent services are not available to your front-end code. There are going to be times when your dependent services take longer than their SLA to respond. And there are going to be times when not all the data is going to be in the response. Those can be the moments that really make or break the user experience. Sure, we all want 100% uptime and 100% accuracy delivered within the time frame of the SLA. But let's be real, that's not realistic. I would venture to guess a lot of folks here are using cloud-based services like AWS and Azure. Well, I hate to break it to you, but even they will go down sometimes or be slow sometimes. So let's rethink errors and loading screens. Let's make them fun. Let's make them a destination. Instead of a terminal endpoint that a user reaches, maybe an error scenario could lead them to something new and exciting. Instead of staring at loading screens, maybe we could leverage those precious microseconds and seconds. Let's go ahead and get a definition out of the way, because I've already said it a few times, and you're going to hear me throw this term about a few more times. SLA, that's a service level agreement. It basically just refers to a contract between a service provider and a client. I'll be using this term to refer to the contract of how long a certain call should take to return data. For example, I might have a 100 millisecond SLA with a provider, meaning that I, as a client, expect a response within 100 milliseconds. But I still need to plan ahead for when the response takes longer than the SLA. Okay, now that's out of the way. So I remember the first time that I was genuinely delighted to encounter an error. It was several years ago during the first Amazon Prime Day. I'm guessing that Prime Day was way more popular than even Amazon expected, because the volume of traffic on the Amazon shopping site brought it down. Instead of being able to search for whatever gadget it was I had my eye on, I was met with a picture of an adorable dog. and a little biography that showed that the dog was actually a pet of one of Amazon's employees. There was even a link so that I could see more cute pet pics. While I couldn't shop, I had a great time clicking on pictures of cute pets. Now, clearly, Amazon did not want to have their shopping site crash. I'm sure they would have much rather had my money. But I'm here talking today to all of you about how I still walked away from Amazon as a happy customer. That's failure-driven design. I walked away with a smile on my face, even though I couldn't order whatever gadget it was I had gone there for. And I even remember talking to friends and family that were also Prime members on that day, and those cute animal pictures were the talk, not that we were angry because we couldn't shop. Let's talk a little bit about Happy Path. The Happy Path in software development is how a product should work if everything goes perfectly. Every single piece of the data is available and correct, and it's all delivered within the provider's SLA. Over the last 20 years of being a developer, I cannot count the number of times when I've been asked to build a feature where the only thought that was put into it was the happy path. As soon as I would start to ask questions of the product owners about requirements around the experience if a call fails or takes too long, I would often get met with the answer, just show our typical error screen. Or, we'll figure that out later. We just want to see the happy path working. We all know that when you bolt something on as an afterthought, it never works well. It never feels like part of the ecosystem. So why do we treat error handling and messaging, a core part of any product, as a bolt-on afterthought? Just like test-driven design, perhaps the first screen we should build should be the error. Or maybe we need to rethink if an error is even the right solution. At the very least, maybe we should add some cute pets to every error screen. I've spent a long time working in television building the X1 platform. I know how frustrating it is to try to watch something on demand or on your DVR and find out it won't stream. Okay, just imagine. You get home from a long day at work. Okay, even though these days that might just mean walking from one room of your house to the other. But you get done a long day of work, kick off your shoes or your slippers, and just want to watch last night's episode of your favorite show. You browse to the recording and boom, error message. This won't play. That's a terrible experience. Well, one of the things that we did at Comcast was to rethink that terminal error screen for that case. So you tried to watch a DVR asset and there was corruption on the hard drive of your physical set-top box. Instead of showing an error and leaving you to your own devices, which is probably taking to Twitter to complain, we can be proactive. We can see if we have a cloud-based DVR recording for that same show and stream that for you. And failing that, we can see if we have it available and on demand and stream that for you. All seamlessly, because you shouldn't be bothered to look elsewhere for your program. You had a long day already. But let's say those fail as well. Should we just shrug and tell our customers to go have at it on Twitter? I don't think so. We can offer to record it the next time it's on. We can offer to alert them when it's added to on demand. And finally, we can suggest a similar show that they can watch right now. And if we help a customer find a new favorite show, we just turned a bad experience into a great one that they might talk to their friends and family about. But it's not just error screens that leave us with a missed opportunity to do better. We also need to think about loading screens. We see them all the time on our phones, computers, smartwatches, and televisions. Whether it's the dots or the spinning wheel or a loading bar, we just sit and stare and hope that whatever it's doing, it'll do it faster. I'm reminded of another time, a time I was delighted to encounter a loading screen. I was trying to request an Uber home from work, and there weren't any drivers available because it was raining. In this scenario, I would usually just sit and stare at the screen with those all too familiar loading dots, hoping a car would become available. But this time, I was asked by the Uber app if I would like to take a quick coding quiz while they looked for a car for me. I was intrigued. I quickly accepted, and it turned out to be a coding quiz they were giving because they were hiring. I was greeted with what looked like a typical IDE or development environment and was given various tasks that included fixing coding errors, multiple choice questions, and find the bug scenarios. It was a really fun way to pass the time as I waited for my car and driver. Now, I'm not sure how they knew I was a developer, but that's probably a different talk for a different day. There are so many ways that we can make the experience for customers better, as well as better for our customers. For Uber, they used the opportunity to hire fresh talent that they knew were already fans of their brand. Now, next time you think about loading indicators, think of other opportunities, such as informing your customers about new features or products, giving them a fun quote of the day, or maybe upgrading them to a new tier of service. Tell them if it's going to rain later and remind them to take an umbrella. See if they can solve a quick riddle, or play a quick game of Sudoku, or do a little paint by number for relaxation, or maybe show them another cute kitten. How many times have you tried to send an SMS or chat message and you've been told that the message failed to send with a prompt for you to try again? Why isn't the app retrying for you? How many times have you reached an error asking you to call a phone number where you will most likely be put on hold? Why can't the application or website you're using offer to call you instead? This happened to me earlier today. I was using the FedEx chatbot to try to find out about a missing package. The chatbot told me, because your package status has been in transit for longer than usual, please contact a FedEx customer service representative. I thought that's what I was doing by talking to the chatbot. Turns out I needed to pick up my phone and call. But why didn't the chatbot just ask me for my number and call me? Think about being the person getting the error screen next time you're about to code one. You know the abilities of your system. Can you auto-heal? Could you retry? Could you automate some, if not all, of what you're going to ask the user to do manually? By asking these questions of yourself, you can turn an uh-oh into a yes. We need to approach error screens as something that users will always see. Let's not make them bland and sad. We know our users are going to see them. So next time somebody says, "Show me your error screens," I hope that you can show them off with pride.
That was awesome. Thank you so much. And Leslie was unable to do a live, so we did stream that. However, she is, I believe, in the chat room. So if you'd like to say anything to her, she is definitely there. Again, thank you so very much for that, Leslie. And up next, we will be hearing from Pierre. So if you all just stay tuned, we will see you shortly.